last couple of weeks, Sam Altman has been saying that we're very close to building superintelligence with ChatGPT 4.0.
You said that it is possible that we will have superintelligence in a few thousand days from now.
I think it's possible, and I think it's possible not super far in the future. I expect that in 2025, we will have systems that people look at, even people who are skeptical of current progress, and say, wow, I did not expect that.
There's a lot going on in OpenAI at the moment, and I think they had a bit of a decline. I think they released all these different models, O3, O4, Mini, etc., etc. And I know that he's been talking about releasing O5, which is actually in June 2025. So I'm looking forward for that to come out, like a consolidation of all the models into one primary model, which I think is a great idea, because what I'm noticing is that everyone's releasing all these different models and it's getting a little bit confusing. Like, I think they need to go through some sort of UI, consolidation process, which I think he's on. I don't know, I lost a little bit of faith in Sam Altman's leadership in relation to some of the products that they were releasing. I didn't think they were very good, and I didn't think they were significantly more enhanced than the previous version. I felt that he was running at it for other reasons. I know they had to go through a valuation. I think, don't quote me on this, but I think the valuation ended up being $680 billion. So when you get that initial valuation, it tells the market something how much your company is potentially worth. So that gave them the opportunity to be able to go and borrow money and scale the company. So I think now they're running a little bit faster, which is exciting because I think he's going to create some great stuff. So I've got a little bit of reignited confidence in his ability as a CEO to run that company. He may have been hamstrung. You don't really know all the ins and outs, right? Like, look at Kalanick inside Uber, right? You just don't know what's going on. But so what do I think about it? I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. I think it's going to have a huge impact to the market. I don't know whether, I think about this, right? I don't know whether, look, people are saying in the market, and these are some of the best minds on the planet, are saying, watch out, this is going to happen in 3 years, 5 years. I don't know whether that's the case. Artificial general intelligence and all those other ways to look through, or hyper intelligence is another term that people are starting to use. I just don't know whether it's that close to us. I don't. And I remember looking at AI's, report, stating that it's not really artificial intelligence. And I understand the concept of them saying that being a large language model and not something that's autonomous that can think for itself, because you have to prompt it, right? Like, it doesn't do anything unless you prompt it. And I think what Apple were getting at was that, well, it needs to be autonomous. You need to be able to communicate to it. It needs to be able to think for itself, have an opinion, right? Be able to enter a debate, argue with you. Obviously, without the emotion, it'll be completely agnostic, which is great. It's like the perfect human. That's the opposite to a Democrat. So that was a Dem joke. It's okay. So yeah, look, I'm super pumped about it. I think there's going to be a lot of benefit for communities, for business, for the world, for society in general. I don't think it needs to be regulated yet. I know that I saw, the White House trying to enter into a bill where, AI should not be regulated at least for the next 10 years. I think that's a good call. So it lets companies, I think it keeps bureaucracy out of technology, and I think that's what should happen. Because as soon as you get Washington on it, or as soon as you get federal government on it, it's going to slow everything down, and it's going to fuck it. And it's for the consumer and for everyone else, right? So there's enormous benefits in medical sectors, enormous benefits in mental health sectors, enormous benefits in the economy that it can impact positively. So I think it's great. I just don't think it's as close as everyone thinks it is. And I'm not being skeptical. I just know that, look at 1992, with the internet and the PC, it just took longer than everyone thought. And I know we're closer to it, and I get that. I know we're closer to it because we do have all the infrastructure we have now, all the server farms and all the hardware and the operating systems and the coding, and I get that, but I still think this is entering a new phase, right? So I don't think it's 3 to 5 years away. I think it's going to take longer. Will it happen? Yes. Will it happen in the time frame everyone is talking about? I think people get excited about it. That's what I'll say. Oh, this is amazing. This is going to change the world. It's going to happen really quickly. In actual fact, history would dictate to us that takes a little bit longer than what we think. But it's definitely happening.
How confident are you that AI's promise will outweigh the perils?
I'm not confident, but that's what we need to get oriented around. That's why I was surprised AI wasn't really an issue in the last election.
The state of AI right now is at a point where it's not self-aware, but we cannot go back to a society without AI, and people are going back and forth. Like, AI is kind of useless, it's not useless. How do you think it's going to benefit society in the future?
Well, it's benefiting society right now. Like, you just need to look at the lens of what's happening in businesses right now. Like, I can speak firsthand about that. There are going to be markets that are going to be affected negatively. Like, that's just a thing, right? But to find the answer to that question, normally you should look back in history. Because this has happened before. This is not the first time, this is not the first rodeo, right? Like, whether it's the manufacturing industry, whether it's the farming industry and the agricultural industry, whether it was electricity, communications, like I said before, the internet. Like, everyone thought that when the internet came out, everyone's going to lose their jobs. That didn't happen. It employed more people. It just employed more people. So will that happen? Look, no. Will it happen in certain sectors? Yes. So it'll be compartmental. Look, I just know there's going to be certain jobs that will have to go. So people will have to retool and retrain. But when you have an AI do a job, someone's got to manage the AI, right? And then maybe that creates another job somewhere else, right? So I think that's what will happen. I think it'll take time. I like the concept of AI taking its time and not changing the world in 5 years, because those are the things we have to navigate. If Trump is correct and say there's no bureaucracy and artificial intelligence innovation or any tech stack around that for the next 10 years, that's good, because that gives it an opportunity to mature, right? That's where the fastest thing will happen. The reason it will slow down is because it becomes regulated. Does it need regulation? I think at the high level it does, especially in terms of how would you deploy artificial intelligence into the military? I think that should be regulated. Yeah. But how would you deploy AI into a company to help them with marketing? That should not be regulated, right? So there's different levels of regulation. The problem with politicians, though, is that they want to fucking regulate everything. And they want to make money out of it, right? And they want to build careers out of it, and they want to get votes for it. So they like attention, and it's not normally good attention. So, like, look at Newsom in California, right? Like, seriously, dude, what are you talking about? Like, he's managing that state very poorly and has for some time, and that state is in disarray, man. So politicians and AI don't go together for me right now. I think there'll be a percentage of political influence that should happen, and it should be governed, and there's some governance and some compliance should be wrapped around it, but man, not now. Did that answer your question?
Sure did.
Yeah, okay, great.
Democrats seem to believe that this is a winning issue for them. Do you approve President Trump's National Guard deployment? Yes, 59%. No, 39%. That is a plus 20. We are done with riots in this country. We do not like them. We do not want them. And we are not going to stand by and watch while they are performed.
So we have Ben Shapiro talking about the riots and the National Guard being called in for the riots in LA. What do you think about that? Is that necessary or is it not necessary?
Why were the bullets rubber? No, that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. So, well, he says, right, 59% of the people were okay with it.
Yeah.
And they voted Trump in for a reason.
Yeah.
I think Americans are just sick of it. Sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
Should he have done it? Like, I know there was this argument between Newsom and him. Trump said he called him and gave him warning that they were going to send in the National Guard. Newsom said that didn't happen. He's a liar. Can the the LAPD handle it? LAPD handle it? Probably not. Did he deploy anyone with great urgency? No, he did not. You know what I mean? So he didn't really take leadership and control of it. Look, I sort of like the concept, and it's not whether it's Trump or it's anyone else. I don't really care. Now, I don't need to like Donald Trump. I just need to focus on results, right? That would be me. What's the best thing in alignment with the state and the citizens that pay taxes in that state? Yeah. Doing the right thing by them. You cannot have people running around on the street burning fucking Waymos, right? Waving Mexican flags, burning American flags, and hurting innocent people, and looting people's businesses. Should they have sent their National Guard? They should have sent the National Guard and everybody else.
And they're claiming
Like,
peaceful protesters.
those aren't peaceful. I actually saw that. I watched I saw, like ABC and CNN and all those channels saying, it was a peaceful protest, and it didn't get escalated until, the National Guard came in. Well, what happened is he sent ICE in, right? I think the initial, I think there were 16 people that needed to be arrested. They were illegal immigrants. They weren't legally in the state. Some of them had criminal offences, so they just wanted to go get them and remove them. Newsom found out about this. He pushed it out on social media. So he sort of incited it. And if he says he didn't, he knows damn well that when you do that and he's the governor, that something is going to happen. Because it looked very coordinated to me. Like, I did see in one of the news feeds that they had bottles full of water that were frozen. They had to prepare that. So someone must be funding it, because I don't think you can just that. I think it's coordinated for sure. So, but Newsom really pulled the trigger on that. So he was responsible for it. Why did the LAPD not react so quickly? Well, it's because he's the governor. He probably didn't authorize it, right? So it's quite easy to manipulate something and then blame somebody else. And I think maybe that's what occurred. I don't really know, but that sort of is my lens on it. And I've watched a lot about it and listened to a lot of really impartial, agnostic professionals talk about it, right? And get both takes on it, both left and right. So should they have deployed the National Guard? Absolutely, they should have. Why? Legally they can. They don't need any permission. That's what he ran on. That's what the people voted for, for law and order, right? And if the governor's not going to do it, so the president stepped in to do it, which is fine. And he didn't do it because they were peaceful. He did it because it came very unpeaceful. Correct. Right? If it stayed peaceful, that would never have happened. So what came first, right? So yeah, I would have sent in the army as well, and all the Navy SEALs. Yeah. Because you got to say enough is enough, guys. Yeah. You can't burn and spit on the national flag and hurt innocent citizens. Yeah. Like, that should be and the Dems are wrapping this up and blaming Trump that it's his fault. Well, he didn't do anything. Yeah. Yes, he made a decision to send them in, and he may not have had authority to do so, or he didn't give anyone a heads up. Well, tough shit. He got voted on an agenda, right? And it was a very clear, concise, conscious and large victory. So, when the people say, of the country in which you are president or reside over, you have to honour that. I think that's super critical. So that's what he's trying to do. Does he do it in a way that people like? No. Do people like him because of the way he speaks? They don't like him. But they don't need to. You just got to get shit done. GSD, man, get shit done. Like, and I always think, sometimes you have to be aggressive at the start for it to gather momentum. Like you just do. He's got 4 years. He knows this. He got 4 years. And the bureaucracy in Washington, man, pushing things through Congress must be so slow and so painful. So, he's got a good team around him. So it's a great cabinet. And yeah, look, in business, I do the same thing. If you want to go and shake things up, take control and get people to understand what you're doing, you have to be assertive. Aggressive, in fact. Like, it's no more aggressive than Travis Kalanick at Uber. No more aggressive than Steve Jobs at Apple. No more aggressive than Bill Gates from Microsoft, right? It's just, dude, they're all the same. Whether he's a president or he's a CEO, man, that's just how the market is. So, people need to take off their poopy pants. And dude, he is getting shit done. Do they like the way he's doing it? No. Is he setting an easy narrative for them to turn things around on him? Yeah, he is doing that, and he's probably not aware of it, but I just don't think he cares. But it's look at the border crossings now, right? Like, he fixed it in basically like 100 days.
Yeah. Which is, by the way, very impressive.
In 12 to 14 years, the Dems haven't been able to do that. Yeah. And he did it in 100 days. Yeah. But to get results like that, you have to be aggressive, man. Like, if I wanted to invest in a CEO, I want him to be like that. I'm not going to invest in the woke CEO who's going to listen to everybody and follow the rules. I want my guy bending the rules, inventing the rules, and navigating around them. Like, that would be my guy I'd invest in. That's my startup entrepreneur, man. My founder is that guy. I don't want the woke founder. I'm not going to make any money. I'll lose my investment because he's going to listen to everybody, right? I always think about, just one more thing I want to add, like Trump, man, dude, he's getting smashed from everywhere, right? Like they raided his house, they accused him of all these things. He's been through the ringer, man. He's had 2 or 3 attempts on his life.
Hundreds of lawsuits.
Yeah. But you see that, right? But if you look at the math, and these are independents that are running the math, is that the people still support him. I think it's the minority of people now that are like, you know, they have a very big voice and it's their only narrative. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty, you know, he's probably going to have a couple more attempts in his life, probably. Like, this hasn't happened in the history of that country before. This is crazy. You know, I understand JFK and all that sort of stuff, but this is crazy. Like, but yeah, it's shaping. It's going to change a whole bunch of things, not just in America, but everywhere around the planet, I think. So, look, power to him. I think he's doing a pretty good job. You know, could he be more conducive to the way that he communicates? But you know, whatever. It's results that, you know. Look, I don't need to like him. Like, if he was my president, I don't need to like you, dude. In fact, I can hate your guts. But as long as you're doing what you said you were going to do, that's why I voted for you, and you do it, I don't have a problem with it.
Welcome to a non-existent car show, and let's see some opinions.
I mean, man, the acceleration is crazy. You look far, step on the pedal, and you are there.
I feel safe with him in an SUV, and it seems to be like the right type of car for him.
Fuck me. Like, seriously, dude.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man. Like, I watched it, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was hoodwinked, dude. You hoodwinked me. I did not fucking know. Because I was watching it go, oh, I'm looking for the content. What's the story about?
Yeah.
And they're at this car fair thing.
Yeah.
Talking about EVs. And I'm like, oh, they're going to like, there's going to be, is this about this? I said to you, is this about the Cybertruck?
Yeah.
And we got to the end and said, dude, that whole thing was made by VO3.
Yeah.
And I went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was crazy, man. Yeah. And I said to you, everything is going to change in that space because that's how good it is, right? Like, that is just, I wonder what's going to happen to the film industry. Brad, you're going to be out of a job, dude.
Yeah, right.
Like, I wonder what's going to happen to the film industry. Not just that, my mind is like going a million miles an hour right now.
Yeah.
Just thinking about all the opportunities that platform is going to, that's Google's platform, right?
Correct.
Is going to present.
Yes.
And not just them, but Sora's going to move in that direction. It's going to be that good. All those other platforms, you know, by OpenAI, Claude, all those guys are going to, you know, Anthropic, they're all going to run at that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be, that to me is closer than AGI.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I do think so as well.
I think that's so much closer because if it's that good now,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that long where they could make a full-length movie that's fully generative.
Correct.
It's the same thing with online learning, right?
Yeah,
Everything used to be done in a classroom.
Correct.
It's all done online now.
Correct.
So I remember in the day, because I'm 134 years old,
Yeah.
right? Is that if you were training in the field, like for a mine site or something like that,
Yeah.
you'd have to have a couple of trainers pack their bag, go to the airport, jump on a plane, fly to a site, get picked up, get inducted, go to the site, do the training, go to camp, go to sleep, get up, do it again. You know, it's like now you just send a link
Yeah.
to their handset
Yeah.
and it's done.
Yeah.
That's what that is to me.
Yeah.
Because you don't need the cameraman, you don't need the cameraman.
Yeah.
You don't need the camera.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to maintain the camera, clean the camera, order the camera, pay for the camera.
Correct.
So your operational expenditure drops to next to zero. Yeah. So how can you? So if you think about EXO, right? Exponential organizations where their goal is to dramatically reduce OPEX and double or triple expenditure, revenue. Like, how do you do that? That's the sort of technology that does that, I think.
Yeah.
that blew me away, dude. You know, humans are creative, and should we be cleaning, you know, toilets, or should robots be doing that for? I'd much rather a robot clean my toilet than I clean it. Because I can go do something else that has more contribution over here.
Right.
You know, I could go and earn some money over here to move myself and my family towards prosperity. You know, to look after them. You know, I could be contributing to charities. I could be building stuff to help communities instead of cleaning my toilet, vacuuming my floor, and picking up my groceries. Because if you look at life administration, dude, how many hours people put into a week? I bet you it's a big number. Mowing the lawn. How long does that take? 30 minutes? 45 minutes? Edging, you know, pruning the trees, going to the hardware store. Like, seriously? Imagine if that could be done for you, and you spend more time with your children, teaching them, taking them to, you know, the art gallery, teaching them about history. How much more expansive and how much more value would that help your kids, right? I think about those things, man. I think, you know, people sometimes look at it that they're losing something instead of gaining something. So people need to chill the fuck out and maybe look at it with a little bit more positivity, please. You know what I mean? Like, we are how we think. And new technology shakes people, they don't get it, they're scared of it. Our human brain is designed to protect us, and that's where that negativity comes in. This won't work, I'm not doing this. Hey, you remember I said this to Mark the other day. Oh no, it wasn't. Anyway, it's irrelevant who it was. I said, they said something, and I said, yeah, but do you remember, like, I think I said that Sam Altman's going to release like a phone, a device, an AI device that's got a phone. It's not a phone, that's an AI device. And he goes, oh, I don't think anyone's going to buy that. And I said to him, I bet you fucking said that when you first used your BlackBerry with a QWERTY keyboard. And he went, yeah, you're right. Because I'm never going to get rid of this BlackBerry. This is the best thing ever. And then the iPhone came along, and all of a sudden it's changed. But it's an interesting concept where I said to him, and I wasn't even conscious of this, actually. I just said it. I said, this is not a phone. This is an AI device with a phone in it. If you just look at the market through that lens, like, this will not be a phone. At the moment, this is called an iPhone. Sam Altman is not building a phone. That's the difference. See the difference? And no one's seeing that. Everyone thinks he's building a phone. He's not building a phone. Like, he's not building a phone. By the way, he's got the guy who designed this thing, and it's not going to be a phone.
Oh, Johnny Ive, right?
Johnny.
Holy shit.
Right? Old $6 billion Johnny. So Johnny and his team, and it's got a small team, by the way, are designing the new OpenAI device. It's not a phone. And I think that's a market. Now, I don't know whether Altman's going to do that. If I was him, I would market this not as a phone. I hope he does that. Come on, man. I've got faith that he's going to do that, because he needs to separate himself out from devices like this, because this is going to be old school. By the way, Sirius is the worst AI in the market right now. Like, seriously. You know, and I can see themselves trying to come up with a reason why that's the case. But even if they were true about that, and, you know, they probably are to a point, who cares? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can say that to protect yourself, that you haven't innovated your iPhone and how, God knows how long, 10 years? I don't know. Maybe not 10 years.
The same since 2007.
Sorry, Tim, I take that back. But, you know, like, I don't know, man. I'm super pumped. I tell you what, when that phone comes out, I'm just going to throw this in the bin. I'm going to get away from this device, and I'm going to move to that device, and I don't even care whether it's good or bad. I'm just going to do it. So, because I don't think it's going to be a phone. I think it's going to be your personal AI that you carry around with you. It learns who you are, it figures out where you go using GPS. It communicates to you, it understands your personality, what you like and what you don't like, and it's going to do a whole bunch of stuff for you. This is a phone. You can send SMSs from it, you can make phone calls from it, you can FaceTime people from it, I get it. It's got access to apps, but that's just an app store. The device doesn't do that.
Correct.
The app does it.
But also,
this is the interface, right?
Yeah, correct. But also,
the app store is going to get smashed.
Yeah.
You won't need an app store, dude.
Correct.
Just, like, downloading an app makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, it's just irrelevant now.
Everything should be accessible right away, like that.
Without an app.
Correct.
So that's why I'm saying they're, you know, look, they've got a big moat around them. Don't get me wrong. They've got more money than they know what to do with. They're not financially going to be in trouble. But what I'm saying is they're not recruiting the right people in that business, because I know they own the App Store, right? I get it. And they have Apple TV and they have all these Apple devices and all that sort of stuff. But the concept is changing. The concept of technology and how consumers UI and UX with it, it's changing. And that's changing fast. Like, it's not the deployment or the execution of technology, it's how we see it is changing really, really fast, right? And then that creates the innovation and the build and the development. These guys are still doing the same thing 10 years ago. The App Store, making changes to the App Store, making updates to the device, to the phone, and they just keep going around in circles. They're not reinventing anything, because I think the App Store won't exist. When this device comes out, OpenAI, I don't think the App Store, they won't have an App Store. God, I hope they don't have an App Store, because you won't need it. Like, it just seems so redundant. But I think, just imagine, dude, like I'd be aiming for that. My device, my AI's company is called Visera, so let's call it a Visera. It's got no keypad in it. There's no emojis. There's no access to an app store. You don't have to download anything, ever. All you do is carry it around and talk to it. It can take pictures for you. It can do all that sort of stuff, but you don't need to open up your camera using your finger. So everyone's got an identification number, which I call their mobile number, right? I just call it their ID. So to call somebody, you need their ID. So they'll have to figure out what sort of user interface will happen with phone numbers, so you don't have to open up. Like, now you can go, hey Siri, call this person, and it'll call that person. But if the person's not in your address book, how do you overcome that challenge, right? So it's going to have to figure that out. Can it figure it out? It probably can, because it's just data, right?